I have a question that I would like to ask you today. Do you have a form of godliness about you? Do you just have a form of godliness? And somebody may say, what are you talking about? Are you one of those people who you're just religious? You just have a form of godliness about you. You talk about the Lord, but you truly don't live for the Lord. As I was reading in 2 Timothy chapter 3, and I'm going to read a couple of verses to you. And when you get a chance, go back and read the rest for yourself. But I'm going to read to you about what Paul was talking to Timothy about, how people are living any kind of way, that they just have a form of godliness to them, but they're doing every other thing their way. And when you're still doing things your way and you're not doing things the Lord's way, you're just a religious person, or you just have a form of godliness inside of you. I'm going to read a couple of these scriptures to you, and I want you to think about your life and truly ask yourself the question, could that very well be you on today? And is there something that you need to change about yourself before it's too late? And it says, verse 1, chapter 3. You should know this, Timothy, that in the last days there will be very difficult times. Verse 2. For people will love only themselves and their money. Now, don't we know that? People will love themselves and only their money. They will be boastful and proud, scoffing at God, disobedient to their parents, and ungrateful. They will consider nothing sacred. Verse 3. They will be unloving and unforgiving. They will slander others and have no self-control. They will be cruel and hate what is good. Verse 4. They will betray their friends, be reckless, be puffed up with pride, and love pleasure rather than God. Love pleasure rather than God. Verse 5. They will act religious. They will act religious. They will act with a form of godliness, okay? They will act religious. Some say a form of godliness. I want you to think about that now. They will act religious, but they will reject the power that could make them godly. You heard all of that was read. Go back and read it yourself. See, boastful, full of pride, hate in their heart, living any kind of way, but have a form of godliness to say, but I love the Lord. Could that be you? You say that you love the Lord, but the only problem is you're not living for the Lord. A form of godliness is you got some people, they know this Bible front to back. They know those scriptures front to back. They can quote them in their sleep. But the only problem is they know the scriptures, but they're just not living by the scriptures. Could that be you on today? You know, you go to church, but that's all you do is just go to church, and you live any kind of way after church. You go to church, but are you going to church to truly learn about the Lord? Or are you going to church because you want something from the Lord? You know, you got that form of godliness that say you fast to the Lord, but are you fasting because you want to do better by God, or do you want something from God? You have to be real with yourself. See, a form of godliness can be, we can wear the Christian apparel. We can wear all that stuff. You can wear those shirts. You see people wearing those shirts that say Jesus is dope. You can wear that shirt while at the same time you're smoking dope. I want you to think about it now. You could be praising the Lord 1 minute, but cussing out somebody the next minute. Do you just have a form of godliness about you? Are you one of those people who say, I love to thank God for my spouse, but all you do is mistreat your spouse and cheat on your spouse and disrespect your spouse, but you love to brag and tell the world how the Lord sent you a good spouse? Are you one of those people who you're talking about Jesus the next minute, but you in club the next minute? Talking about Jesus 1 minute, but you're smoking and drinking the next minute? Talking about Jesus 1 minute, but you're playing your scratch off cards the next minute? You're talking about Jesus 1 minute, but you're fighting the next minute? You talking about Jesus 1 minute, but you're cussing people out the next minute? You talking about Jesus 1 minute, but you're getting over on people the next minute? You talking about Jesus 1 minute, but you got all that hate in your heart the next minute? Could that very well be you? And if that's you, my friend, you just have a form of godliness about you. A form of godliness about you. You could be one of those people that some people, you have a cross up in your yard, but you raising total hell up in your house. But you got a cross sitting outside your yard. Do you just have a form of godliness about you? And could that be you on today? Everybody has to overlook their life, because I can raise my hand and say, guess what? I was guilty of it, because all I had about me was just a form of godliness. I was just a religious person. Yes, I went to church. Will I lived any kind of way outside of church? Yes, I talked about the Lord, but guess what? I wasn't living for the Lord. And could that be you? And if you just have a form of godliness about you, you will not make it to heaven. See, you could be one of those people who talk about heaven, but the only problem is you're not living the righteous life to get to heaven. And that was me. I was living any kind of way. And if you still live in any kind of way, you will not go the right way. If you just have a form of godliness about you, you just talking about the things of God, but you're not truly doing the things of God, you are not right with God. It's time for us to seek the Lord. Go to the Lord on today so we can truly start living the right way, and the right way is God's way. It's not enough that we say that we believe in the Lord, we love the Lord, but we're not living for the Lord. And I was very well guilty of that myself, doing things I had no business doing, going places I had no business going. If I said that I love the Lord, if I said I was a child of God, I should have been living for God. And somebody need to realize that on today, that if we're truly saying that Christ is in our life and he's leading us the right way, why in the world do we still live any kind of way? And I was guilty of doing that. And I can promise you, if I would have left this world, my soul was not going to go the right way. So some of us need to seek the Lord, surrender to the Lord, so we can start living a life that's pleasing to the Lord. If you need help, it's always easy to go to the Lord now while your eyes are open, because it's going to be too late once they close. We must go to the Lord and say, Lord, I need your help. Show me the things that's not like you. Some of us already know the things that not like Christ, but we just keep on wanting to do the things that we want to do and not what Christ wants us to do. We must start getting things right before it's too late. Let's start seek the Lord. Go to the Lord and talk to the Lord and say, Lord, I need your help with living a life that's pleasing to you, because when I leave this world, I want to be pleasing to you and I want to be greeted by you. So always remember my closing. Self-examination is the best examination, and Jesus Christ is Lord and he's all we have. Have a great rest of the day.